When a beautiful stranger leads computer hacker Neo to a forbidding underworld, he discovers the shocking truth. Life as he knows it is an elaborate deception of an evil cyber intelligence. The Wachowskis' 1999 film, The Matrix, is up next on Inside Movies. Hey guys, welcome to Inside Movies. My name is George Michail. I'm joined by novelist Andrew Buckley, writer-illustrator GMB CHOMICHUK, and all-around good dude John Bauer. Guys, thanks so much for being on the show. Let's get into The Matrix. What's the good? What did we like about this movie?
Okay, I'm going to open with the story. It's 1999. Gregory does not want to go to a Keanu Reeves movie. He's in a dark place, and his friends are like, just come out. Let's hang out. It'll be fun. We're going to the new Keanu movie. No, I do not want to go to the new Keanu movie, but they picked me up anyway. And I walk into the theater, and I see Keanu Reeves holding a machine gun in tight black leather spandex, and I am thinking to myself, okay, perhaps there is promise here. What is happening? Is that Lawrence Fishburne in the background? Who is this amazing woman on the poster? Okay, I'm perhaps interested now. And I saw that movie. I can say I have never seen a movie more times in theater than I've seen The Matrix. For 3 weeks straight, I went almost every day, bringing somebody new to see The Matrix with me. I was so affected by this film. The woman who would one day be my wife, we were dating at the time, and it got to the point where she would say, what do you want to do tonight? And I would look at her, and she would say, no, I'm not going to see that movie. Take someone else. I love The Matrix. I was a mark. I was a Matrix mark. Whatever they packaged, I ate with a spoon. So anything you guys say bad about The Matrix, it's going on a list, and I'm going to hold it against you.
So to be like a total downer, opening night for The Matrix, for me, I was going to a midnight showing with the girl I was seeing, Becky. Super excited for this. So I was like, 17 years old, had my car, going out to shows late at night with the girl. For me, it was kind of awesome, kind of cool time. And that was actually the night that my dad died. And I did not go to the show that night. And I was in the hospital. Just like I was actually on my way out the door at like 11 o'clock at night to go pick up Becky. And yeah, so it was a terrible night. And one that kind of puts like this like movie in like this like weird kind of point in my life that is always connected to something terrible, even though that this is one of my all-time favorite movies. One of the movies that I've seen the most ever. Definitely in my top 10. I'm not big into like rewatching movies over and over and over again. So most movies I've only seen once or twice, but this one I've seen 10, 15 times, and I love it.
So watch out. George and I are coming for you if you soil this movie for us, I think is what it's getting to. Right? I just wanted this on the record. I got my book. I'm making a list. Say something bad about it, Andrew.
John, do it. John, just say what you hated about this movie. Just make Greg cry.
I actually saw this movie by accident.
So did I.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this looks cool. I'll go and see it. I didn't mind Keanu Reeves and whatever else I'd seen him in before that. And Walk in the Clouds, was that after or before The Matrix? Do you guys know?
I think that's after.
Okay. So
when was Sweet November? Was that before or after?
That's after.
I think that was also after.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I didn't know a lot about it, and Carrie Ann Moss captivated me. The
you got a thing for Carrie Ann Moss, me too. There's a lot.
I did.
There's a lot of like 18-year-old women out there right now named Trinity. I think a lot of people thought that was a cool name.
That's interesting because in one of my classes, the student behind me was Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, oh, hey, that's cool. But yeah, she was the only one that I noticed in spandex. I didn't see Keanu in it, thank God. But yeah, it was a really groundbreaking movie. So I loved it.
I think the concept is so cool, right? Like I like this kind of movies like this one and The Truman Show that kind of delve into, like, you know, reality isn't what you think it is. You know, there's these kind of talks like nowadays that it's like a 50-50 chance that we're all living in a simulation, things like this, which I think is kind of absurd. But you know, I think everyone has a feeling once in a while in their life that something isn't right, whether that's deja vu or what. And I like the concept. I love the martial arts. I love a good kung fu movie, and you put it in with this sci-fi concept, and it works just beautifully to me.
There's a concept around writing stories where you try not to introduce more than one impossible thing at a time. And The Matrix is actually excellent at doing that, except that it's literally only a breath between each impossible thing. Like, it's compressed to the point where you're just following along, and it's question after question after question. And they even say it, it's literally a line in the movie. It's the question that drives you, Neo, right? That's what we're doing in the structure of this story, is we're going to move you along by not telling you anything, but presenting something that you have to know the answer to, so it moves you forward. But that doesn't reveal an answer. It reveals yet another question. I love that about the story structure of this film. When he opens the little, when they're picking up his hack-in, right? It's 1999, so he has this little packet that he's going to give, and it's his, you know, illicit program. It's in a hollowed out copy of Simulation Simulacra, right? John, it's exactly, their references are right there. They're not hiding what they love or what they're ripping off or any of those things, but they put it together in such a new, innovative way. They kind of do a Tarantino thing. They just take everything that they like and put it into a film, and then give you an idea you haven't thought of yet in that context. Love this film.
It's like the first original movie that had come along in a long time, or it felt like it was just a breath of fresh air that just we hadn't seen in a couple of years. And like you said, like the way it was structured together, and they wrote 14 drafts of this script before they figured out how to actually make it work, because it was a hard concept to actually put down on paper and to see it translated to the screen. But man, they did a wicked ass job of it, because it for one, it all made sense. There's barely any freaking plot holes, and it lives in the psyche of that, holy shit, this could happen. We could be sitting in the Matrix right now. So it works really nicely.
One of my absolute prized possessions is I have a hardback collection of the storyboards of the Matrix. And wow, there are scenes that aren't in the film that, you know, there's an entire sequence where Morpheus would have fought off all the agents and a bunch of SWAT members with a manhole cover. And it's basically scenes of a Captain America comic that they have as Morpheus with a manhole cover. And they're incredible. I believe, doesn't he lives in BC, doesn't he?
Steve Scroce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Scroce lives
in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And he's worked on X-Men, is probably his most famous for, and he was a Marvel artist for a lot of years.
His storyboard work is outstanding. I like storyboard collections. I like looking at them. I like studying them. I've never seen a collection like his. And I've never, because it's so well rendered as a comic book illustrator. And so that shows up on screen. Like, they're trying to get a vision across, and it exists on the page. They don't have to make it up. They're just showing people, we're going to do this. And I'm sure the film production is like, how? And they're like, that's the second question. It's the question that drives us. We're going to do this, right?
Well, and the Wachowskis were relatively unproven. They were comic book creators. They had done one small film before being given like a $65 million budget to make The Matrix.
Yeah, Bound.
And part of them proving themselves to the studio that they could handle this was putting all these storyboards together and having the book, having the script visually available to the producers so you could see it.
Yeah. Oh, man. And Jeff Darrow doing set design and concept development. And then all of it, like, if you see those drawings, you got to ask yourself, okay, this is an impossible Jeff Darrow illustration. But they just put it on screen. We'll do all that. We'll just put it all there. It's incredible. So good.
Also, the action and the way the thing was shot was revolutionary. They'd never done bullet time photography before. Like, it was brand new to be able to do those crazy swirling shots and shit that they pulled off.
And never mind, it was photography. It wasn't even video.
It wasn't video. They did it with still
cameras in a
photography.
loop. It's what?
Genius.
Yeah.
The videos that I think was probably part of the special features on the DVD back in the day, which is crazy. Them testing that out and actually creating a brand new way to shoot film, like, come on, you don't get that very often. That's crazy stuff.
I love the mystery in it. That you don't really know what's going on until like maybe 45 minutes to an hour into the movie, and then I love the training sequences. I love the idea of being able to like learn all these different martial arts, and he's a machine. He's been going at it for like 10 hours straight, and he's like, I know kung fu. It's like, that's so cool. I'm like, I want to know kung fu and not have to like put in years of work, and him like training with Morpheus, and he starts like, and you get the sense that he's got the like superhuman ability when his arm is moving so fast it's like not even able to be pictured still. Like it's just awesome. And I think that I'm not a big fan of like Wire-Foo in a lot of movies, but in The Matrix, it makes sense because they explain it logically that these people can bend reality and stay in the air half a second longer and jump a little bit higher. And so it works. It really works in this. And it's inspired by comic books and anime and sci-fi and kung fu movies, and you put it all together and it's just great.
It's funny. It's great that you point that out. You could almost argue that this is the first time that Wire-Foo is given a contextual explanation, as opposed to you're just supposed to suspend your disbelief when you watch, right? Those kinds of movies. You're just supposed to be like, okay, that's this style of film does this. But The Matrix is like, wouldn't we like to do this all the time? Here's a reason that we can put it on film and people will like it and not go, oh, that looks weird. Instead, you think it's so cool.
You know what else is awesome? Wordsmith Academy. If you're interested in learning something about writing, maybe you're on Christmas break right now and you're like, I would love to, do something like this and make cool worlds like The Matrix. You could sign up for Wordsmith Academy. Andrew, can you tell us a little bit about this program?
Yeah, it's an online writing school. We have a bunch of instructors from all over the world. We have screenwriters, we have people who write poetry, we have novelists. We have producers, all people who are engaged in the creation of content at various different levels. And they teach live classes. They teach classes that are recorded and then delivered later. So if you want to get more information about that, you want to sign up for any of the classes, you can head over to wordsmithacademy.com.
Awesome. And I have included a link to Wordsmith Academy in the description of this video. So go ahead and click that. And Andrew, could someone get a course by you?
They could indeed. I teach a fantastic novel writing course that can be self-paced or can be, we have a hybrid version that's about to get launched where it can be self-paced with instructor support. And then I do live classes usually about twice a year for 7-week runs.
Awesome. Yeah. So everybody, go out and check that out. Link in the description of this video.
What did you guys think about the telephone transportation stuff?
Love
like
it.
when they pick up the phone at the phone booth?
I loved it. I loved that it wasn't revealed till 3/4 into the movie. We were just supposed to take for granted that somehow they traveled through the hard lines, but we don't know how. And when they finally showed it, it was like, oh, cool, that's how they do it.
Yeah.
And every time I see it, it blows me away. It was like, oh, they're faxing themselves to another dimension.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
And also that scene at the beginning where the dump truck, or I guess the garbage truck, is pointing at the phone and she's running to it. From the very first viewing, even though it's supposed to be like, why would she run there? I know because of how she is portraying the performance. That's how she's going to escape. There's no danger. At no point, even from the first viewing, did I think, oh, Trinity, don't go there. That's where the truck's going. It's like every other thing she's done is so precise that there's a way out there. And I can't wait to find out how. That's like, oh, man.
No, one of the other things I loved about this movie is the cinematography. And like I said before, the green tinge to what life was like when they're in the Matrix. And I remember the old style computer technology when you'd have the printing up on the screen, it would all be green, And then when it started to move to more of a video or visual video representation, that was kind of lost. But I love the way that they brought that back. And like even Agent Smith, when they're with Morpheus, you can just see that slight green tinge to the suit. I just thought that was brilliant.
Well, the production designers, apparently everything that's on camera in the digital world is green. The suits are green. The shirts that seem white are green. They're all just slight different tones of green. And so your brain is making the connection that, oh, that must be a grayish suit and it looks kind of green. It's not a filter effect. I mean, there is some of that. They did a color correction on that set, but they did it across the set where all the tones were different Pantone greens.
Wow, that's cool.
Which is like an attention to detail that we have not seen, I think, since.
Yeah. But I think it adds to that dimension of a computer generated reality.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. So
the characters in this movie are pretty great too. We've got, Keanu Reeves as Neo. He starts off as, the everyman, the point of view character, doesn't know what's going on. And he's pretty good at portraying that kind of wide-eyed, like, whoa, kind of like what's going on sort of thing. Trinity as the badass love interest. She's great. Morpheus as the mentor. Is there a better mentor? Like, he's just so cool and like badass. And then Agent Smith, he turns a robot program into like this menacing villain, and with his just dry performance,
it's the smell.
Yes, I was just thinking of that. I love that scene. It's your stink, like, oh my god,
so good.
Cool.
I'll also say that before The Matrix, if I had seen this movie in 1998, I would not have believed the love story of Trinity and Neo. But in 1999, I also was involved in a love that seemed to come from nowhere. Like when Trinity, like the whole thing that she's destined to love him, I would have been like, stupid in 1998. But in 1999, that was the life I was about to embark on. So I was buying it. I was eating it up. I was like, wow. Okay, it is possible. I'm sitting with this woman. She's amazing. I don't deserve her. He's on screen with this woman who's amazing. He doesn't deserve her. It can happen. It's happening to me. I loved that part.
And again, I'm thinking of Pantolione. I think that was his name, Joe. He's the fellow that rebels. Like when he's eating the steak and he's describing how, my mind is telling me that the steak tastes this way. But really I've never had a steak kind of thing. And I just think the concept, the way that they put things together, it just fits almost like the perfect film.
All right, let's get into the bad, if there is any. I got a few notes, nothing really all
There's
that
no
hard,
bad,
to be honest. But let's get into the bad of The Matrix.
I don't
want
to get off, anyways.
The writer in me, before I got kicked out of the StreamYard, I was about to say something bad about The Matrix, and so I feel like that's apocryphal.
The Matrix got you.
But I want to say, as a writer, as a human being, I liked the love story of Keanu and Trinity, as aforementioned, because sometimes impossible love can happen. But as a writer, there isn't a lot of buildup where they show the chemistry between Neo and Trinity to the point where I feel like she would be willing to sacrifice herself for him. It's in the exposition. Like the Oracle told me I would love a man, right? And that man was you. I don't feel it before that. And I feel like that's one thing missing in the edit, that I want to see Trinity looking at him lovingly and him returning that, and them being a little like, there needs to be a Matrix meet cute moment, I guess, to really like take it from being 99.9% of a rating to being 100%.
Okay, but two things. One, are you going to write your own name down because you just shared something bad about The Matrix and you're going to hate on yourself?
It's on here. Yeah, okay. I'll never forgive myself.
You shouldn't. Two, don't you think they have that moment when they actually first meet in The Matrix? Like when he goes to the club and they have that first initial meeting?
That tension, that sexual tension between the two, when she leans right up to his ear because and she's talking and he's not moving. Yeah.
You're right. It is perfect.
On this show, we don't like to objectify women, but Trinity, Carrie Ann Moss, she looks dynamite in this movie. Like, I don't know. So there's that too. So I definitely get Keanu Reeves' kind of point of view there. Like, this woman is so cool and badass in these leather shiny pants. I get why he likes her. You know. So.
Did you take notice to how she's running across the rooftops and even toward the
sprints, a full out sprint, which is nice and refreshing because like so often in movies you see people like not really like full running.
One could argue that Carrie Ann Moss is a better runner on film than Tom Cruise. I'd like to see a side-by-side comparison. I'll go on record.
Tom's short.
He's got those short little legs. It doesn't.
Yeah, he's got to move his legs 3 times as quick. Carrie Ann, she's got the longer stride. I think.
Yeah, that stride, that lope, that power. She I believe she's gonna fly across that when she leaves.
Oh yeah, the way she was running up and down those the roofs there, like she didn't look awkward at all.
See, it's funny because we're trying to talk about something bad, but we just kept talking about good things.
All right, I got 3 bads. They're nitpicks, but
make your note, Greg.
The soundtrack is a little dated. Rewatching it in 2021, it's like, oh yeah, this is going back to like the 90s techno, and I didn't think that all the music
Zombie didn't do it for you.
It just didn't necessarily fit the movie. Sometimes it just kind of seemed like this was the cool sound at the moment. I felt like
it is a silver picture, so like, come on.
Right. Some of the computer effects do look a little dated, especially the little thing that goes into his belly button there. It didn't have like enough depth to me, like as far as like modern special effects go. I thought he sold it really well though, and when they suck it out of him, that looked really cool. But when it's crawling around on his stomach before it goes in him, I thought it looked not great.
The makeup effects. Oh my god, do I have 2 things? No, because we fixed the love story one. I can take that off, so I'm back to one small thing. The mouth makeup.
Oh yeah,
I like that. I thought it was.
I love the effect. I love the concept. But there's a few scenes where it's like, it's just makeup. It doesn't sell it.
Another nitpick is that Keanu Reeves' stunt double is visible in some of the scenes, especially when they're breaking in to rescue Morpheus. Chad Stahelski was Keanu Reeves' stunt double. He's wearing sunglasses, but you can still tell it's him. He would go on to become not only a stuntman, but also a director himself, directing Keanu in John Wick and all the John Wick movies.
What?
No.
That's insane.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we have the Matrix to thank for John Wick too, which is awesome. Yeah, so that is a bit of a nitpick too, because whenever I can see the stunt doubles, it takes me out of the movie and it kind of hurts that movie magic a little bit. So those are my 3 little nitpicks. But let's get into the skinny. Can we give final grades for The Matrix? I'll give it an A+. For me, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. I love the concept. I love the mystery that it has in the start of the film. I love the training. I love the rescue of Morpheus at the end. It's a great movie, and it still holds up 100%. And if you haven't seen The Matrix, absolutely go out there and watch it.
I will give this movie 10 out of 10 freshly baked Oracle cookies.
Make you right as rain.
Right, they will make you right as rain. Yeah, yeah.
I give it 5 awesome, weird, clicky cell phone things that I wanted at that time period out of 5 because it's a near perfect movie.
I'll give it 5 spoons out of 5 because there is no spoon.
Whoa!
No, like I said, I think it's one of those iconic films for a generation. I think it changed the way movie making started to happen with the science fiction era, and I just think they did an awesome job of putting the movie together.
Great. Okay, so that's going to do it for another episode of Inside Movies. I've been George Michail. It's been Andrew Buckley, John Bauer, and GMB CHOMICHUK. If you want to follow along with our writing adventures and our lives, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those different things. Links in the description of this video. And
unless you don't like The Matrix, then don't follow me. Don't find me on social media. Keep clicking somewhere else. All right. If you don't like this movie, move on.
And Wordsmith Academy, if you're interested in checking out a writing course, a link for that is also in the description of this video. Until next time, peace.